Very interested in getting the opportunity to direct Annie Baker. She is, writes more contemporary stuff, but isn't seen as often because she leans so heavily into naturalism that it makes you a little bit uncomfortable sometimes. She really hangs out in silence, as we do as people very often without necessarily realizing it. When you have those friends, those people that you have in your life that you're so comfortable around that you can sit together and do nothing and just simply exist together in that comfort, is seen a lot on stage in this show in particular. And so I was really interested in exploring those really hyper-realistic moments and getting to work with such a small cast as well. It's only 3 men, and it becomes very intimate. You get to see a really close look into those relationships. Yeah, it's about 2 30-something-year-olds who hang out outside the back of a coffee shop who, aren't necessarily sure where they're going or what they're doing with their lives. And they end up meeting a 17-year-old who works at the coffee shop, who similarly, but in a very different stage of his life, also doesn't really know where he's necessarily going with his life too. So they all meet and they talk their lives, they talk music, and we get to see those conversations and those relationships blossom through them.
The title is Aliens, and not in the sci-fi sense, but in the alienation, the social outcast. So they are 3 people who don't necessarily connect over a mutual interest in any one thing. It's more a mutual feeling like we're all boxed in outside of what is comfortable or normal. And that's kind of what allows them to find their connection points in their relationships outside of the context of a single thing that they're all interested in. So the interesting thing about this show is that it's taken this image of 2 30-somethings kind of directionless in life hanging out behind a coffee shop, which is very much a kind of a trope in the bohemian beatnik hipster sense, but it tells a very, very beautiful and difficult story with that trope that I think is missed in a lot of ways that don't appreciate that they're human.
They arrive.
Yeah, so as far as a resolution, there is a moment where we see how we are going to move forward. I think that it's really important in a lot of art that we mimic some of what is real. And in a lot of our lives, we don't get this pretty neat bow tied on everything that happens to us. A lot of times we don't know if we made the right decision until years later. We don't know if this is going to work out in the way that we thought until who knows. And so I think that at the end, you will leave satisfied. You will leave with a direction moving forward. Whether or not we call that, this is the resolution, this is how everything works out in the end, who knows? But you will leave feeling like we have a way to move forward.